The kitchen is quiet. The children are still asleep upstairs. You and your co-parent are sitting at the table. If you're listening, something at home has shifted. Maybe recently, maybe a long time ago. Welcome, I'm Remy. This is Co-Parent Space, the calm space for parents and children living between two homes. What you'll hear is grounded in attachment science and clinical research. It isn't therapy, and it isn't medical or legal advice. If you or your child are struggling, please talk to someone who can help in person. This is a quiet place to think. It doesn't take sides. Here's today's piece. Saturday morning. The kitchen is quiet. The children are still asleep upstairs. You and your co-parent are sitting at the table. There's coffee. Neither of you is drinking it. You've been awake since 4:30. You've rehearsed sentences in your head all week. You don't know how to start. You don't know what you'll do when they cry. You don't know what your 7-year-old will ask. You don't know if you'll cry. You don't know how to walk back upstairs and call them down. This is the conversation that almost no one has rehearsed. It's also, for most families, the conversation that everything else builds from. Today's episode is about how to have it. Not perfectly. There's no perfect version. Carefully. In a way the child can hold. On a day they can absorb it. With language that doesn't ask them to carry what isn't theirs. The principle that runs underneath. Before any of the practical guidance, there's one principle that runs underneath the whole conversation. The child doesn't need the adult truth. The child needs the age-appropriate truth. Delivered slowly, with room for follow-up. Closing. A few sentences. We're going to be okay. You're going to be okay. We love you very much. We're going to take this slowly. You can ask us anything, anytime. There are no questions that are too big. That's the whole conversation. It's not long. It's not supposed to be long. The child does not need a 30-minute speech. They need 10 minutes of clear, calm, loving naming, and then time. What to do in the hour after. The hour after is when most of the actual processing happens on the child's side. Stay near, but don't hover. The child will often want to go to their room or to do something normal. Let them. Be visible. Be available. Don't follow them up the stairs and ask if they're okay. They don't yet know if they're okay. They need to feel. Don't have a debrief between the parents in earshot. This is the moment the marriage instinct is strongest. That went better than I thought, or I can't believe you said it that way. Save it. Save all of it. Have your conversation later, after the child is asleep, in another house if necessary. Don't make the next thing dramatic. No special lunch out, no big trip to the park, no new toy. The child reads dramatic compensation as evidence that something terrible is happening, and the parents are trying to bribe them through it. Make lunch, watch something together, be normal. Watch for the second wave. 3 to 4 hours after the conversation, often around bedtime, the child often comes back with a second wave of questions or feelings. Where is daddy going to live? Will I have to change schools? Will you still be my mommy? This second wave is when the conversation actually settles, often more than the moment itself. Be ready. Stay up if you need to. Make space for the bedtime conversation to run an extra 20 minutes. Don't introduce new information you don't have to. Don't tell them tonight that one parent has already moved out. Don't tell them tonight that the house is for sale. Don't tell them tonight about the new partner. These things, if they have to come, come later. The first conversation is about we are separating. Everything else comes in separate, later conversations, often days or weeks apart. What to do in the week after. The first conversation is not the whole conversation. It's the first iteration of a conversation that will run from months in small fragments, often when you don't expect it. Expect questions to come back randomly, in the car, at the toothbrush, at 9 p.m. 2 nights later. Why aren't you living with mama anymore? The child is processing in fragments. Answer each fragment briefly. Don't re-explain the whole thing. Remember what we talked about. Mama and I are going to live in 2 houses. We still both love you. Is there something specific you're wondering? Brief, steady, available. Watch for regression. Younger children may regress. Toddlers may have potty accidents they hadn't had in months. School-age children may want to sleep in your bed again. Tweens and teens may become quieter or more clingy. All of this is normal. Hold the regression. Don't try to fix it. The body is processing. It will come back to baseline. Watch your own state. The week after is hard. You're gonna have your own grief, your own anger, your own logistical panic. The child reads all of it. Don't perform that you're fine if you're not. But also don't dump the not fine on them. Find an adult to talk to, a therapist if you have one, a friend who can listen, your own parent. Your own state regulates theirs. Tell the school, briefly, factually, in the first week. We've separated. The child knows. Please let us know if you notice anything we should be aware of. No detail beyond that. The school doesn't need the adult story. They need the operational fact. Don't try to repair the conversation. If something went badly during the conversation, don't go back and redo it. The child is processing the imperfect version. Redoing the conversation creates more, not less, anxiety. Hold the imperfect version. Be available for the follow-up. The next conversation, in fragments, is where any repair happens, not in a restaging. What you don't say, and what to do when you slip. There are things that will hurt the child if said, even if true, and even if you feel them strongly. The reason for the separation in detail: Daddy has been seeing someone else. Mama doesn't love me anymore. We tried for a long time and your father refused to go to counseling. Not the child's load. Blame. This was Mama's decision, not mine. Your father is the one who broke this family. The child will read this as, I have to choose. They cannot choose. Don't ask them to. The fear. I don't know how I'm going to manage on my own. I'm scared we won't have enough money. The child cannot fix any of this. They will try to fix it. They will try by being smaller, by needing less, by not asking for things. Don't put them in that position. The hope that the parent will come back. Maybe one day we'll get back together. We just need time apart. Unless this is genuinely true and agreed, don't say it. The child will hold it as a wound that reopens at every disappointment. Most parents will say at least one of these in the first month, in the heat of a hard moment, even when they've prepared. If you slip, you slip. The repair is small. The next morning, calmly. Yesterday, I said something I shouldn't have. I was upset. The thing I said about Daddy isn't yours to carry. Forget it if you can. The child can hold the repair. They cannot hold the unrepaired slip. When the conversation can't happen together. Sometimes both parents in the same room is not possible. Reasons include high conflict, domestic violence, addiction, or one parent who has already left and isn't coming back. In these cases, the parent who has the children most has the conversation, alone if necessary. The framing changes slightly. Mama and I are going to live in 2 houses now. We're not going to be married anymore. Daddy loves you very much. Daddy is going to call you, see you, spend time with you. We're going to figure out how all of it is going to work. The absent parent should ideally have their own conversation with the child as soon as possible, by video call if not in person. Do not improvise the absent parent's role. Don't say Daddy will see you on weekends if you haven't agreed that. Don't say Mama is coming back soon if that's not true. Be more honest about uncertainty than about specifics. If there is no safe contact possible with the absent parent, a domestic violence situation, an incarceration, an abandonment, the conversation is different again. Module 17 covers those circumstances specifically. The first conversation is one of the hardest things a parent ever does. It's also smaller than it feels. 10 minutes, 6 or 7 sentences. The opening, the naming, the 2 reassurances, what's not changing, what is changing, the love. You will not do it perfectly. No one does. The child will not remember the exact words you said. They will remember the texture of the room, whether both parents were there, whether the room felt safe, whether the love came through, whether they were allowed to cry, or be quiet, or ask the wrong question. That texture is what they carry. Build the texture carefully. The words will mostly do their job. After the conversation, the long version of the conversation begins. In fragments, in bedtime questions, in the car, over months. You don't tell a child you're separating in one conversation. You tell them, slowly, over the year that follows. The first conversation is the door. What's on the other side, you and your child walk through together. The adult truth is everything you know. Why this happened, what went wrong, whose decision it was, what's been hard in the marriage for years, what you're afraid of in the future, the legal reality, the financial reality, the fact that one of you has already moved emotionally and the other is catching up. The child cannot hold any of that, not because they're not smart, because the adult emotional weight of those facts is not theirs to hold. A child who is given the adult truth carries it as a load they didn't earn. They become a confidant when they should be a child. They become a witness to a parent's pain when they should be a person who is being loved by both parents. The age-appropriate truth is much smaller. We are separating. We both still love you. We are still your parents. Some things are going to change. Most of what matters is going to stay the same. That's the whole shape. Everything else is detail, and most of the detail comes out over months, not in one conversation. Holding this line is the hardest single thing in this conversation. The parent's instinct, especially the parent who feels less responsible for the separation, is to tell the truth, to name what happened, to explain. The child cannot use that. The child needs to know they are loved, that they are not the cause, and that they are not now responsible for either parent. If you can hold this one principle through the conversation, you have done the most important thing. Before the conversation. The hour you spend before the conversation matters almost as much as the conversation itself. Agree on the shape with your co-parent. This is non-negotiable, even when the relationship is strained. Both parents sit down together, ideally a week before, and agree on 5 things. The opening sentence. Mama and I have something we want to talk to you about, or whatever your version is. Both parents need to know what the opening will be. The naming. The words separation or divorce, or whatever your family will use. Both parents need to use the same word. Children read inconsistency as a sign that something else is happening. The reason given. Almost always one of 2 shapes. We've decided we can't be married anymore, or we've decided we can love each other better as friends than as partners. Both parents need to agree on the framing. The things that won't change: school, their friends, both parents loving them, both parents being their parents forever. List these out before the conversation so neither parent forgets in the moment. The thing that will change: the living arrangement. Phrased simply: we're going to have 2 homes. You'll spend time at both. Don't get into the schedule. Don't name who's leaving. Just name that there will be 2 homes. If you can't agree with your co-parent on these 5 things, the conversation isn't ready to happen. Take more time. A botched first conversation is worse than a delayed one. If you genuinely can't get to agreement on the 5 points, that's a sign the underlying communication is broken, and the conversation may need a third party. See Talking 13 on the questions you can't answer for the harder version of this problem. Pick the time carefully. Not a school night, not the night before a birthday or a school trip. Ideally, a Saturday morning when nothing else is happening that day. The child needs space after the conversation. They need the rest of the day to be soft. Tell them together. Both parents in the same room. Both parents speaking, not just one. The child needs to see that both of you are okay enough to be in the same room saying this. If you can't be in the same room, get help to figure out what to do. The child should not be told by one parent on the phone with the other absent. Pick the room, the kitchen or the living room. Somewhere the child associates with normal family life, not anyone's bedroom, not anywhere they're going to associate the memory with afterwards. Have water for them and tissues in the room. Small thing, useful. Be regulated yourself. This is the hardest part. Your nervous system in the hour before is going to be activated. Your hands may shake. Your voice may catch. That's all fine, and the child will read some of it. What you don't want is to be in a state where you can't be present for them. 5 minutes of slow breathing before you call them in. Not a dramatic intervention, just enough to be there. The conversation itself. There's a rough shape that works for most families. Adjust the language to your children, but the shape holds. Call them in. Sit down together. No screens on, no music, the room quiet. Both parents on the same side of the table, or at least both visible to the child at the same time. If you have more than one child, all the children at once. Don't tell them separately. They will compare notes within minutes of you leaving the room. The opening sentence, something like, "We've got something important to talk to you about. We love you very much, and we want you to know what's happening." Short, steady. Don't start with the news. Start with the love. The child's nervous system needs to read, "Something is changing, but I am still safe," in the first 10 seconds. Not, "Something terrible is happening, and my parents are about to disappear." The naming. Mama and I have decided that we're going to separate. That means we're going to live in 2 different houses. We're not going to be married anymore. The words separate or divorce, the fact that the living arrangement is changing. That's it. Stop. Let it land. The child's first response will tell you what they can hold next. The 2 things they will think first. Whether or not they ask, they will think 2 things in the first 30 seconds. Is this my fault? And who will look after me? The conversation needs to answer both, whether the child asks or not. This is not your fault. Nothing you did or didn't do caused this. This is something Mama and I have decided together as the adults. We are both still your parents. We are both going to love you exactly the same. You will see both of us. We are both still going to be here. Say these things even if the child doesn't ask, especially if they don't ask. The silent child who has not asked is the child for whom these reassurances are most urgently needed. What's not changing? Run through the list you agreed beforehand. School, their friends, their bedroom, or the version of their bedroom that's going to exist, their toys,
the dog, the grandparents they see, the Sunday lunch. The list is concrete and small. The child needs to see the perimeter of what's stable.
What is changing? Carefully and minimally. We're going to have 2 houses. We'll work out how that's going to look. You'll be at one house some of the time, and the other house some of the time. We'll tell you more when we know more. Do not name a schedule today. Do not name who's leaving today. Do not name a date today, unless you absolutely have to. The child cannot hold logistics in the first conversation. Logistics come later. Space for their response. Pause. Don't fill the silence. The child may cry. They may go quiet. They may ask a sharp question. They may say, "Can I go play now?" All of these are normal. None of them are the wrong response. What the parent does in this pause is the most important moment in the conversation. Don't lecture. Don't explain more. Don't reassure into the silence with more words. Sit. Be available. If the child cries, hold them. If they ask, answer briefly. If they want to leave, let them leave. That's today's piece. If it helped, the full written version, and more like it, are at coparentspace.com. Be gentle with yourself. I'll be here next time.